Here's your news rush for August 6, 2026. 6 stories. Let's go. We told you yesterday that talks were disputed. Here is why, more precisely. Iran denies that ongoing talks involve direct communication with Washington. Officials say they are speaking only with Oman, and only about navigation through the Strait of Hormuz. A senior Gulf official puts the odds of an Oman-Iran deal on Friday at 50-50. President Trump keeps describing this as talks with Iran and calling it Iran's last chance. Both things can be true at once, a narrow shipping deal brokered through a third country, and a president describing it as something bigger. The fire that emptied out part of Spokane may have been set on purpose. Officials say 37-year-old Aaron Farinacci was arrested on suspicion of first-degree arson in connection with the Old Trails fire, the largest of 3 blazes that have destroyed more than 700 buildings and forced around 67,000 people to evacuate. A tip from a community member who noticed a nervous-looking man near the fire's origin led investigators to him. He was found with waterproof matches and a butane lighter. But authorities have not stated a cause for the other 2 fires, which means the biggest question, whether this was one act or 3 separate ones, is still open. Diplomats were negotiating a withdrawal while the fighting restarted underneath them. A bomb inside a booby-trapped building in Majdal Zaun killed 2 Israeli soldiers and wounded 7 others, which Israel's military says was a blatant violation of the ceasefire. Officials say Israel responded with strikes on the towns of Burj al-Shamali and al-Mansuri, wounding at least 4 people, and that while those strikes were happening the 2 sides were in Rome for US-mediated talks on a phased Israeli withdrawal from southern Lebanon. That timing is not a coincidence, it is the pattern, military pressure and diplomacy running at the same time, each one shaping what the other side accepts at the table. 4 days ago UEFA said football's governing body had lost confidence in its president. Today FIFA answered with both an apology and a vote of confidence at once. FIFA's leadership apologized for what it called errors in handling the now-scrapped plan to sell a stake in the World Cup, after a crisis meeting in Morocco, and Secretary-General Matthias Grafstrom gave Infantino his full support, days after privately calling the episode a sad and reproachable series of events. But that reversal from Grafstrom is the real story. That means an apology which keeps the person who made the mistake in charge is not really a correction, it is a truce. Michigan Democrats picked their Senate nominee, and it is a name National Democrats will now have to build a campaign around. Reports say Abdul El-Sayed won Michigan's Democratic Senate primary, setting up the general election fight for a seat in one of the states that will decide control of the chamber this November. But primary wins do not travel automatically into general election wins. That means clearing the voters most engaged in the party is a different test from the one coming in the fall. More than 30 water systems in one state were hit at once. Reports say a recent cyber attack targeted over 30 water systems across Minnesota. The number is what makes this different from a routine breach. Hitting one utility can be an isolated criminal act. Hitting more than 30 in the same state points at a shared vulnerability or a shared adversary testing how much of the system it can reach at once, and water infrastructure is exactly the kind of target that does not need to be destroyed to cause alarm, only touched. That's your news rush for today. Subscribe so you never miss a day.